What's up, guys? This is Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'll talk about some significant pieces of news coming out for Tesla and why we have big data coming out at 10 a.m. that could cause some volatility. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. So on the daily time frame, as you guys know, Tesla has this gap to pull back down to 338. But what is good for now is that despite that gap below, Tesla's still holding up quite nicely in the pre-markets, and we could even try to push a little bit higher into the low 350s if we do see some somewhat of a push, upon open. But then I would be very, very careful at 10 a.m. So why is Tesla pushing a bit during the pre-market session? Well, the answer is because we're getting some good headlines. Yesterday, we had some negative headlines about how their market share in the US has gone down quite significantly. And that is not the best of news. This is happening not just because of the fact that there's more competition in the US, but it's also because of their sales declining as well. So before they had about an 80% market share, now it's only about 38%. Yes, there's more competition and such, but if you look at their sales data in the US, each quarter around 2022, we were doing about 120 to 130,000 sales. By each quarter of 2023, it was around 160 to 170,000. By 2024, around 140 to 160,000. And then this year, you guys can see the numbers are at 128,000 for Q1 and 143,000 for Q2, a slight decline compared to what we saw during previous quarters. So hopefully we get a strong Q3 with good data. So I just want to give you guys a reminder about that as these headlines are still coming out. But then we also have more news coming out involving Silicon Valley. Tesla's now looking to expand their robotaxi over there to three of the busiest airports in Silicon Valley. That includes one in San Francisco, one in Oakland, and one in San Jose, California. So that could be very, very interesting news as they continue to expand their robotaxi. This will help build a lot more revenue, and those are some very, very busy areas where they could be targeting. Tesla's also expected to unveil their next gen Megapack today. I think that's part of why we're starting to see the share price going up for now. So that is some good news, and this could help Tesla push for the low 350s, at least to some extent. But even if Tesla does push a little bit higher, two warnings include number one, there's an imbalance around 352, so 350 to 352 could be coming. The 4 hour does show we might bounce a little bit. So we could be looking for the 350s, but on the daily time frame, keep in mind there's this big gap to fill down here around this 338 to 340 area. And then even if we gap up a bit, we could start to turn back down to fill that gap. So I'd still be very, very careful. Now on Tuesday, we basically have, today is Tuesday, September 9th. We just got business optimism. This was very close to expectations. This is why the market's up a little bit. But at 10 o'clock a.m., we have the non-farm payrolls annual revision. This could be very important. It'll give us more insights about what our jobs numbers are looking like on an annual basis. And when the data is revised, we'll see if we're going to be expecting more or less jobs. As results, I do expect a big move in the markets, and this may affect our odds of getting a cut. Will we see a 25 or 50 basis point cut? Will this be adjusted? For earnings, there's not really much. We do have Oracle after market close, and that's pretty much it for now. I'm not saying anything else that's too crazy for now. But keep in mind that with Apple, we do have an event today as they are once again going to be talking about their latest tech. We're also going to be watching to see what happens with their latest software updates and any more pieces of news involving the new iPhone. I think this is going to be very, very awesome. So keep your eyes on Apple as well. But besides that, there's not much else going on that I haven't really talked about already. Tesla could try to push a little bit higher for the low 350s, but can we take out this high and remain bullish and start breaking out for the 360s? Or do we come short? Do we come short and just hit the low 350s to start turning? If we can't hold 350, if we kind of push a little bit above it and reject, I do still see a risk of us coming down to fill this gap back down to 338. So I would be very, very careful nonetheless. So yes, we could push a little higher for 350 or so. The low 350s. We need to break above 355 to start breaking out higher. If we don't, there's going to be a risk of us returning to 338 on Tesla. I still see that risk. For the overall market, SPY is currently at 649 to 650. I mentioned that 650 to 652 is a danger zone. So, if we break 652, it's bullish. But if we don't break 650 to 652, if we kind of consolidate here, there could be a risk of us turning down. And if this data is not the best, of course, the market could still turn down. We'll see about what kind of reaction we get. If 648 fails, let's expect a bigger move to like 646 or below on SPY. If we break 652, we're going to remain bullish. I do want to warn you to be careful in the low 650s in case we do get a rejection. Same thing with the QQQ. Be careful around 580 to 582. We still have a head and shoulders like pattern. We have not broken past 582 to be bullish. If we do break that, we're bullish. If we don't, we could consolidate and kind of turn down. So be very careful. We're up in the pre-market right now with decent business optimism data. But if we get a rejection, there is going to be a risk of us turning down towards 575. On the IWM, we're supposed to break past 240 to be bullish. If we don't, we could be retesting 235 or below. On ES, you want to break 65.50 to remain bullish. We came close during the pre-market, but watch 6,500. Do we hold above it or not? If we lose this, we could still turn back down to 64.80 or below in case there's some kind of rejection. So be careful. If NQ breaks 23,900, we're bullish. If we end up losing 23,750, we're looking for a move back down. Overall, we're holding up quite well, and I think that we're doing a great job. But I would be careful. Apple has its events, but this jobs data could be affecting us big time. So we'll see if we turn back down to 23,700 or not. Bitcoin is in the middle. Can we break 113,000 to break out more? Do we turn back down to 111,700? We might be turning back down here, so be careful. So Tesla could push a little higher for the low 350s, but if we can't hold above that, there's going to be a risk of us turning down. And if we can't hold above 350, I still see that gap to get filled at 338. Nvidia is showing a little bit of weakness. Unless we get back above 169, we're going to be favoring 166. Apple is kind of flat here. I know they're going to be unveiling the new iPhone, but a lot of the times the Apple events are like buy the rumor, sell the news. So we'll see if Apple gets a big pump or not. If we don't, there is a big gap to fill at 229. And if Apple dumps after their event, that could be once again a bearish catalyst. So we'll see. On top of this, MSTR could be rejecting, dipping back down to 323. AMD, for those who are interested, could, if we need to hold 150. If we hold 150, we could still push for 155. But if we don't hold 150, I'm expecting it to dip lower towards 145. We're in the middle. We're just kind of choppy right now. So I'm going to be very, very careful with this. If we get bad jobs numbers and this starts losing 150, be very careful with AMD. Coinbase needs to get back above 307. If not, we could be dipping to 300 or below. Amazon needs to hold above 237. If we don't, we could be retesting 232 or below. So there's a gap to fill. Meta needs to get back above 764 to be bullish. We could touch near there, but if we don't hold 750, we could pop and then retest 750 and we'll see if we dip. Google needs to get back above 236. If it does, then we could be retesting 230. And then Microsoft could be going back up to 502 and we'll see if we reject or not. If we can't hold above 502, we could still turn back down for 495. So be careful there. The VIX has a double bottom here. We need to break out above 15.6 to start pushing higher. We'll see if that happens. So be very patient nonetheless. The market could be forming a temporary top. We'll see just to be safe. And if the market dips, this could also drag Tesla down. Get ready for some big data at 10 a.m. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Please enjoy the rest of your guys' days and peace out.